Have you ever felt a strange pull toward something greater, something ancient, lurking just beyond the edge of your perception? As if the world you see, the life you live, is only a thin layer of a much deeper and vaster reality? What if I told you that the cosmos you inhabit is not simply divided into heavens and earth, not just a single spiritual dimension and a physical world, but into 7 kingdoms, sacred realms encoded in myth, mysticism, and memory, each echoing a deeper truth within your soul? We've heard of the 9 realms from Norse mythology, Asgard, Midgard, Helheim and the rest. But these were only fragments, distorted echoes of a much older, more universal map, a spiritual architecture whispered about in Egyptian scrolls, Vedic hymns, Sufi poems, and Gnostic scriptures. A map not of outer lands, but of inner kingdoms. Realms not charted on any modern map, but etched into the architecture of consciousness itself. What are these 7 kingdoms? Are they literal planes of existence, or archetypal stages of the soul's awakening? Do they lie scattered across dimensions of the multiverse, or are they encoded within your chakras, your dreams, your DNA? As above, so below. As within, so without. These are not just mystical riddles, they are keys, hidden in plain sight. In this journey, we will not merely explore mythical realms. We will decode them. We will step into the sacred halls of forgotten knowledge and breathe life into the symbols that modernity has silenced. We will trace the arcane wisdom passed down by alchemists, sages, mystics and prophets who spoke in metaphors to shield truths from the unready. Prepare to reframe your entire understanding of what it means to be alive, what it means to be human. This is more than myth. This is more than philosophy. This is the cartography of the soul. In the chapters ahead, we'll unravel the ancient origins of the 7 kingdoms and how they evolved into the more commonly known 9 realms. We'll uncover how these dimensions mirror not only cosmic forces, but also stages of spiritual growth. And, most importantly, we'll explore how to walk between them, how to access these hidden kingdoms through daily practice, inner transformation, and sacred remembrance. The veil is thin now. Are you ready to remember what your soul has always known? Long before the modern world constructed its tidy boxes of religion and reason, there existed a universal language, a code of symbols, metaphors, and realms, spoken across continents and cultures, as if humanity once drank from the same well of divine knowledge. This ancient wisdom didn't rely on agreement between civilizations. It simply was, reappearing like recurring dreams in different lands, under different names. And central to that wisdom was a sacred geography, the idea that the universe, both within and without, was organized into distinct realms, or kingdoms. In ancient Mesopotamia, the Sumerians spoke of layered heavens and netherworlds, each ruled by specific gods, each symbolizing forces within nature and within the self. In Egypt, the Duat, the mysterious underworld, was more than a place for the dead. It was a landscape of tests and transformations for the soul. The Book of the Dead didn't describe a fantasy. It detailed a map, encoded in metaphors, for spiritual evolution. In India, the Vedas and Upanishads laid out lokas, higher and lower realms, each representing not only dimensions of existence, but states of consciousness. The concept of sapta lokas, or 7 higher planes, mirrors the 7 kingdoms we're decoding. Yet unlike rigid heavens, these were seen as vibrational stages of being, accessible through spiritual discipline and inner purity. The Norse mythology that gave us the 9 realms, Asgard, Magar, Niflheimer, and so on, wasn't merely a mythological tale, but a symbolic cosmology. Yggdrasil, the great world tree, united all these realms, just as the spine connects the chakras in Eastern teachings, or the Kabbalistic tree of life connects the Sephiroth. In truth, these maps are the same song in different dialects. Even in the Hermetic and Gnostic traditions, the cosmos was layered. The Gnostics believed the soul descended through 7 archonic spheres before entering the world, and must ascend back through them, reclaiming its power, to reunite with the divine. The Hermetic axiom, as above, so below, was not poetry, it was instruction. The kingdoms above are the same as those within. Heaven and hell, light and shadow, God and beast, all exist inside you. Why 7? The number itself holds mystical power. 7 colors in the visible spectrum. 7 chakras in the yogic body. 7 days of creation. 7 seals in Revelation. 7 heavens in Islamic cosmology. The recurrence is not coincidence, it is a signature, a divine fingerprint embedded into the pattern of reality. The mistake of the modern age is to read ancient texts literally, or dismiss them entirely. But the ancients wrote in veils, in riddles. They encrypted knowledge so that only the seeker, initiated not by institutions, but by inner readiness, could find it. The 7 kingdoms were never just places out there. They were paths, initiations, markers of the soul's journey back to source. When Norse myths expanded the 7 into 9 realms, it wasn't a contradiction, it was an evolution. These additions were symbolic of new understandings or cultural inflections. But at their core remained the sacred 7, the primordial design encoded in the bones of our myths and the breath of our spirits. These kingdoms are neither fully metaphorical nor fully literal. They are multidimensional. They live in the folds of your psyche, in the rhythm of your breath, in the structure of sacred geometry and the music of ancient tongues. They are thresholds you cross in meditation, in dreams, in near-death experiences, in moments of deep love or unbearable despair. To walk the path of the mystic, the initiate, the awakened one, you must recognize that myth is memory. And memory is not always linear. The kingdoms are not ancient tales to be read. They are living realms to be remembered. And so, as we now approach the core explanation, prepare to meet each kingdom not as a myth to admire, but as a mirror to behold. To truly understand the 7 kingdoms, we must first shed the skin of literalism. These are not places we travel to with feet, they are frequencies we attune to with awareness. Each kingdom is a realm of consciousness, an archetypal world that governs a layer of our inner reality and reflects a fundamental principle of the cosmos. These kingdoms are both universal and personal, microcosmic and macrocosmic, each one a chamber of the soul, a veil through which spirit reveals itself. The first kingdom is the kingdom of earth, or what many ancient traditions would call the realm of form. It is the domain of matter, survival, roots, and stability. In the body, it corresponds to the base chakra, Muladhara, and in myth, it is symbolized by lands of stone, shadow, and primal instinct. This kingdom teaches you the sacredness of limitation. It whispers, before you ascend, you must descend. Before you know the stars, you must know the soil. Without anchoring, the spirit cannot rise. The earth kingdom is ruled by the archetype of the builder. It governs the lessons of grounding, responsibility, and embodiment. When you are disconnected from this realm, you feel lost, scattered, disembodied, living too much in your mind or future. But when you honor it, you find your sacred footing. You become aware that your body is not a prison, but a temple. The second kingdom is the kingdom of waters, the realm of emotion and flow. It corresponds to the sacral chakra, Svadhisthana, and resonates with ancient lunar temples, ocean deities, and the sensual, shifting tides of the subconscious. In this realm, you learn the alchemy of feeling. Emotions are no longer burdens, they are messengers. Every tear is an offering, every desire a doorway. The waters teach the lesson of surrender. You cannot control the ocean, but you can learn to swim. This kingdom is often misunderstood or suppressed in modern times, yet the mystics knew. To reach heaven, one must first pass through the sea of longing. This is the realm of creativity, sexuality, and inner transformation. It is where the soul remembers its fluid, formless origins. The third kingdom is the kingdom of flame, the realm of will and power. This is the solar plexus chakra, Manipura, where fire is both destruction and rebirth. Here we encounter the archetype of the warrior and the magician. It is the realm of decision, courage, and personal sovereignty. Ancient myths often depict heroes descending into fire, whether dragons' caves, volcanic mountains, or underworlds ablaze. Why? Because the fire is within. In this kingdom, you learn the sacred use of power, not domination, but direction. Fire is the force that forges the sword of clarity. It demands that you burn away illusion, burn away passivity, and ignite your soul's purpose. If the earth teaches grounding, and water teaches feeling, then fire teaches becoming. These first 3 kingdoms, earth, water, and fire, form the foundation of the inner world. They reflect the lower triad of human experience, survival, emotion, and power. They are not lower in value, but foundational, like roots beneath a sacred tree. Without them, higher wisdom collapses into fantasy or ego. Yet, as you rise, you enter the 4th kingdom, the kingdom of air, or the realm of thought and voice. Here, the winds of clarity blow. This realm is aligned with the heart chakra, Anahata, and the throat chakra, Vishuddha, bridging both love and expression. Air is the messenger of the gods. It carries the word. In every tradition, sacred breath, prana, ruach, pneuma, is the animating force of life. In the kingdom of air, you learn to listen. To speak not just with words, but with resonance. It is the realm of truth, forgiveness, compassion, and divine inspiration. Here, thought becomes prayer, and speech becomes spell. You begin to create with your voice what you once tried to control with your hands. The air kingdom is governed by the archetype of the healer or the prophet. It invites you to see through duality, to forgive without forgetting, to rise above the battlefield and speak peace into chaos. This is not passive love, it is active, radiant intelligence, merging mind and heart into sacred intention. So we stand now between worlds. 4 of the 7 kingdoms revealed, each one layered upon the next like veils of an ancient temple. Earth stabilizes, water softens, fire strengthens, air liberates. But the journey is far from over. Beyond the winds lie the final realms, the kingdoms of light, of silence, of source. As we ascend beyond the kingdom of air, we cross an invisible threshold. This is where the journey of the initiate shifts from personality to presence, from identity to essence. The next three kingdoms are not concerned with the outer world, nor even with the internal struggles of emotion, desire, or thought. These are the subtle, sacred realms, realms that dissolve the ego and return us to the truth of what we are. The fifth kingdom is the kingdom of light, often referred to as the realm of vision or the eye of God. It corresponds to the third eye chakra, Ajna, and is represented across traditions as the realm of prophets, seers, mystics, and sages. This is the domain of direct knowing, beyond logic. Here, symbols speak, dreams reveal, and silence roars with meaning. In the Egyptian mysteries, this kingdom was the chamber of the all-seeing Horus. In the Vedas, it was the place of inner sight, jnana, the wisdom that does not arise from study, but from divine remembrance. The kingdom of light is both dazzling and dangerous. Without grounding, the visions here can shatter the mind. But with proper preparation, through the mastery of the lower kingdoms, this realm offers sacred glimpses into the blueprint of reality. You begin to see the cosmic patterns, the divine symmetry behind events, relationships, even your own suffering. This kingdom is governed by the archetype of the seer, and its lesson is one of inner alignment. The question asked here is not, what should I do? But, what am I seeing, and am I seeing clearly? Then comes the sixth kingdom, the kingdom of silence, or the realm of divine stillness. This realm is aligned with the crown chakra, Sahasrara, but it surpasses even that in its sacred mystery. In mystic traditions, this kingdom is described as the great void, the womb of no thing, the dark light from which all creation emerges. To the ego, it is terrifying. To the soul, it is home. In Tibetan Buddhism, this kingdom is the state of Rigpa, pure awareness without object. In Kabbalah, it is Keter, the unknowable crown. In Christian mysticism, it is the cloud of unknowing, and in Sufism, it is Fana, the annihilation of the self in the divine. Here, there is no identity, no duality, no effort. You do not act, you are. Time collapses, thought evaporates, all previous kingdoms become shadows compared to the luminous stillness of this realm. This is where many spiritual seekers stop, not because it is the final goal, but because it is the final dissolving. Only a few continue beyond. And so, we arrive at the seventh and final kingdom, the kingdom of Source, sometimes called the throne, the one, or the heart of the infinite. This realm is nameless, for it existed before names. It is beyond chakra, beyond mind, beyond experience. It is what the mystics called union. It is the place where subject and object collapse, where the lover becomes the beloved, and the wave returns to the ocean. You cannot enter this kingdom through striving. It is entered through surrender. It cannot be seen, it must be become. Every tradition has a name for it, Tao, Brahman, Allah, God, Ein Sof, but none capture its essence. It is the point where all paths converge, where all opposites are reconciled, and where the illusion of separation dies. This is the seat of the eternal witness, the dreamer behind the dream, not a place, but a presence. Here, you do not pray, you are the prayer. These upper kingdoms, light, silence, source, complete the sacred septenary. They are not stages to be achieved in order, but frequencies to be attuned to, spiraling through lifetimes, deepening with every breath, every death, every moment of grace. And here lies the hidden truth. The seven kingdoms are not separate. They interpenetrate each other, like colors in white light, like tones in a sacred chord. When you walk in the world grounded like earth, feeling like water, empowered like fire, speaking like air, seeing like light, resting in silence, and radiating from source, you become the temple. You become the kingdom. This is the secret the ancients knew. The 9 realms, they were echoes, cultural elaborations, of these primal 7. Realms of elves and giants, gods and mortals, are symbolic externalizations of the inner kingdoms of soul and spirit. The tree of life, the chakras, the heavenly spheres, the underworlds, all maps pointing inward. You are not merely a traveler through these realms. You are their maker. Now that the veils have been lifted and the 7 kingdoms revealed, a sacred question arises. How do we walk these realms in the midst of ordinary life? After all, the ancient temples are silent now, the mystics have retreated into history, and yet, your soul still longs for the path. The good news is, the kingdoms never left. They were never places in the sky. They were states of being, waiting patiently for you to remember. To walk the 7 kingdoms is to turn daily life into sacred ritual. You do not need to renounce the world to enter these realms. You must re-enchant it. Each kingdom corresponds not only to layers of consciousness, but to specific practices, habits, and choices you can make to awaken their presence in your life. The kingdom of earth asks for grounding. Begin each morning with a gesture of anchoring. This could be as simple as walking barefoot on soil, practicing breath-focused meditation, or reciting a mantra that connects you to your body. I am here. I am safe. I am held. Tend to your physical needs with reverence. Eat with gratitude. Clean your space as if it were sacred ground. The earth kingdom awakens when you treat matter as spirit in disguise. To enter the kingdom of waters, create time for emotional flow. Journal without filters. Let your tears be prayers. Dance when you feel grief or joy rising. Water needs movement. Learn to observe your emotions without judgment, like waves on the shore. Creativity, whether in art, cooking, or storytelling, activates this kingdom. So does deep listening. When you listen to another's emotions with empathy, you are bathing in sacred waters. The kingdom of fire demands courageous action. Set a daily intention, not a to-do list, but a soul directive. What truth must I live today? Take one small act of bravery, even if it's just speaking your truth in a difficult conversation. This kingdom is also stoked by passion, so follow what excites your spirit. Practice solar plexus breathing or core-centered yoga to awaken your inner flame. Remember, sacred fire consumes fear. To enter the kingdom of air, cultivate clarity in sacred speech. Begin your day with conscious breathwork. Even 3 deep breaths with full attention can change your frequency. Practice verbal minimalism. Speak only when your words uplift, clarify, or heal. Chanting or toning such as Om or Ah aligns you with the vibrational intelligence of this realm. And read or listen to sacred texts, not to memorize, but to commune. The kingdom of light opens when you activate your inner vision. Spend time each day in silent contemplation, not to think, but to see. Visualize your energy centers, or use guided imagery to journey inward. Keep a dream journal. Synchronicities are signs you are aligned with this kingdom. Trust your intuition, even when it defies logic. This realm is accessed not through thinking harder, but by seeing deeper. The kingdom of silence cannot be forced, only invited. Create a sanctuary within your day, a few minutes without input, without doing, just being. Sit in the stillness and allow awareness to expand. Mantra meditation or mindfulness can prepare you, but silence is its own teacher. Let go of roles and stories, even for a breath. When the mind stops grasping, the kingdom reveals itself. And finally, the kingdom of source, the highest, most subtle realm, awakens through surrender. Practice acts of devotion. Light a candle for no reason but love. Offer your work, your struggles, your joys to the divine. Whether through prayer, music, service, or awe, remember that you are not separate from the sacred. You are a note in its song. Let your life become a living offering. There is no single path through the 7 kingdoms. Some days, you may dwell more in earth, other days in light. This is not failure, it is rhythm. The goal is not escape, but integration. You are meant to carry the silence into your speech, the light into your action, the waters into your grounding. You do not need robes, incense, or initiations. The true temple is your awareness. The sacred text is your life. Begin with small rituals. End your day with reflection. Which kingdom did I inhabit today? Which one calls me now? Over time, you will no longer visit these realms, you will become them. So now, dear traveler, you stand at the threshold, not of faraway lands, but of your own layered self. The 7 kingdoms are not fantasy. They are frequency. They are not myths from ancient scrolls. They are maps of human awakening, encoded within your breath, your choices, your very being. The old stories told of gods and mortals, of realms above and below. But now you know, the realms were never out there. They were reflections, fragments, of your inner architecture. The Norse 9 Realms, the Vedic lokas, the Egyptian duat, all of them, poetic mirrors of the 7 kingdoms within. You are the axis, the world tree, the bridge between flesh and spirit, matter and mystery. To walk the 7 kingdoms is not to escape life, but to sanctify it. The food you eat, the words you speak, the thoughts you think, they become rituals. When you embrace earth, you stand strong. When you flow with water, you heal. When you ignite fire, you create. When you breathe air, you connect. When you behold light, you awaken. When you rest in silence, you return. And when you surrender to source, you remember. You were never just a seeker. You were, and are, the sovereign. So we invite you, begin this sacred journey. Revisit these teachings. Reflect on which kingdom you've forgotten, and which you now long to reclaim. Share these truths with fellow pilgrims, for in this age of noise and speed, remembering the sacred is a radical act. If this message stirred something ancient in your soul, if you felt the echo of a forgotten path under your feet, then like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Let us walk this path together. Let this be more than content, let it be communion. Thank you for watching, for listening, and most importantly, for remembering. Until next time, journey well through the kingdoms, and beyond.